The alien warrior princess saw him fighting barehanded and whispered, "I wish he was my husband." The air was thin and smelled faintly metallic, and the sky was a strange mix of green and gold. The wind blew hard, carrying dust and the faint sound of distant creatures. Ethan looked around, gripping his gear. He had seen dangerous planets before, but Violia felt different. It felt alive and wild, almost as if the planet itself was watching him. He adjusted the strap of his bag and took a careful step forward. His mission was simple in words, but dangerous in reality. Help the alien kingdom defend itself from a group of rogue raiders who had been attacking villages and small cities. Humans rarely went to distant planets like this, but when the alien queen asked for help, the United Earth Forces sent a small team, and Ethan was among them. The landscape was harsh. Jagged rocks jutted out from the ground like teeth, and pools of glowing green water reflected the strange sky. The palace of the alien royal family, though far away, could be seen in the distance. Its towers shimmered in sunlight, shaped like spirals, reaching high into the sky. It looked beautiful but vulnerable. Ethan knew the raiders were ruthless and smart. They would not attack openly, they would wait for the right moment. Ethan started walking carefully toward the city. His boots crunched against the rocks, and every sound seemed louder than normal in the quiet emptiness. Suddenly, a low growl came from behind. He spun around, his heart beating faster. A creature, four-legged and covered with dark scales, lunged at him. Its eyes glowed red. Ethan didn't have time to think. He ducked, rolled, and grabbed a rock. He hit the creature hard, and it yelped before retreating. "That was close," he muttered, brushing dust off his sleeve. He kept moving, knowing that this was only a small taste of what was coming. As he approached the city walls, he saw the first signs of attack. Raiders in dark armor moved silently among the trees. They carried strange weapons that glowed faintly. Ethan ducked behind a rock, observing them. There were too many to fight openly, and he had no heavy weapons with him yet. He needed to survive long enough to reach the city gates. Suddenly, a shrill alarm sounded from the city. Ethan knew the raiders had been spotted. They began running toward the walls, their weapons raised. Without thinking, Ethan sprinted forward. His training kicked in. He didn't need a weapon yet. He used his hands, his agility, and his instincts. The first raider reached him, swinging a glowing baton. Ethan dodged quickly and grabbed the raider by the arm, twisting it hard. The raider yelped and fell. Another one lunged, and Ethan ducked, spinning to kick it back. He could feel the adrenaline pumping through his body. Every movement mattered. One mistake could be the last. From a balcony high above the city gates, a figure watched silently. Princess Lyra, heir to the Violian throne, stood with her long silver hair blowing in the wind. She had trained in combat since she could walk, but she had never seen anything like this. A human, small compared to her warriors, was fighting multiple raiders without weapons, without hesitation, and holding his ground. She whispered to herself, barely able to believe her eyes, "I wish he was my husband." Ethan continued to fight. He used everything he knew: punches, throws, kicks. His hands ached and his body burned, but he didn't stop. The raiders were smart. They tried to surround him, but he was faster than they expected. His mind worked as quickly as his body, and he adapted to every attack. A raider jumped from above, trying to strike him from behind. Ethan felt the wind of the attack and rolled forward just in time. He grabbed the raider's legs and flipped him over. Another raider came from the side, and Ethan spun to grab his weapon. He threw it into a nearby rock formation, then delivered a strong punch that sent the raider sprawling. Lyra's eyes widened. Her warriors, who were supposed to be the best, had not moved yet. They had never seen anyone fight like this. Ethan was fearless, but more than that, he was clever. He used the environment, the raiders' mistakes, and his own strength. He was small, but he was powerful. Suddenly, a large raider came charging at him. It was bigger than the others and covered in heavy armor. Ethan had no chance to hit it directly. He dodged to the side, grabbed a piece of broken metal from the ground, and used it like a lever, tripping the raider. It stumbled and fell hard. Ethan ran past it, keeping his focus on the rest. The sounds of fighting echoed through the valley. Lyra felt her heart racing as she watched. She had fought in battles herself, but she had never seen courage like this. This human was risking his life not for glory, but because it was the right thing to do. She took a deep breath and whispered again, "I wish he was my husband." Ethan reached the city gate. Guards had started to fight the raiders, but they were few and scared. Ethan didn't hesitate. He grabbed one of the gates, swung it open, and helped the guards push back the attackers. He punched, kicked, and threw raiders aside, guiding the defenders with shouts. "Keep moving, don't let them through," he yelled. His voice carried over the chaos. One raider managed to sneak past the gate and strike at a guard. Ethan spun around just in time, catching the raider in a hold and throwing him into a wall. The guard stared at him, wide-eyed. "How are you doing that?" the guard asked. Ethan didn't answer. He moved immediately to the next threat. He was everywhere at once, fast, strong, and fearless. Lyra watched as he fought. Her admiration grew with every movement. She noticed the way he thought ahead, how he protected the weak, and how he never backed down. Her heart felt strange, a mix of awe and something deeper she didn't want to name yet. After what felt like hours, the raiders finally retreated. Many lay unconscious or injured, and the rest fled into the forest. Ethan stood among the guards, breathing hard, his hands covered in scrapes and bruises. He looked around. The city had been saved, at least for now, but the danger was far from over. A young Virelian guard approached him, bowing slightly. "Thank you, human. You are amazing." Ethan shook his head. "I didn't do anything special, I just did what needed to be done." Lyra appeared behind the guard, her eyes fixed on him. She stepped forward, her silver hair catching the sunlight. "You fought bravely," she said softly. "Braver than anyone I have ever seen." Ethan looked at her, surprised by the calmness of her voice after such chaos. "Thank you, Princess," he said, bowing slightly. She smiled faintly, a hint of wonder in her eyes. "I wish you were my husband," she whispered, more to herself than to anyone else. Ethan blinked, unsure if he had heard correctly. He wanted to say something clever, something that would impress her, but words failed him. He only nodded respectfully. The palace advisors were watching, their faces a mix of shock and suspicion. A human, in the royal city, and one who fought as he did. They whispered among themselves, but Lyra ignored them. Her eyes were fixed on Ethan. That night, as the city repaired the damage and tended to the wounded, Ethan found a quiet corner to rest. He cleaned his scrapes and wrapped them with the supplies he carried. His body ached, but he felt alive. There was something about Virelia, about this strange planet and its people, that made him feel connected. Lyra watched from her balcony as he rested. She saw him helping injured guards, checking supplies, and making sure everyone was safe. She realized that bravery was not just in fighting. It was in caring, in protecting, and in taking responsibility when others could not. For Ethan, it had been a day of danger, but also of discovery. He had seen courage, beauty, and strength in the alien princess. He had also proven something to himself, that humans could face impossible odds and survive. As the stars appeared in the green-gold sky, Ethan looked up. He knew this was only the beginning. The raiders would come again and the challenges would grow. But he also knew one thing: he was ready. Whatever came, he would fight. And maybe, just maybe, he had made a friend, or something more, in the silver-haired warrior princess who had whispered a wish that felt strangely like hope. The next morning, the sun rose over the jagged mountains of Virelia, casting long shadows across the city. The air was still thick with the smell of smoke and dust from the previous day's battle. Ethan Carter stretched, his muscles sore but his mind alert. He knew the danger was not over. The raiders had retreated, but they would return, and next time they might come with more force. He packed his simple gear and started toward the city gates to check on the injured. Guards nodded to him as he passed. Some still whispered about the human who had fought barehanded, unable to hide their astonishment. Ethan ignored the whispers. He was not here for fame. He was here to help. Princess Lyra was already at the training yard when he arrived. She moved gracefully, her silver hair shining in the morning sun, her movements precise as she practiced combat techniques with her guards. Ethan paused for a moment, watching her. He had seen many warriors in his life, but Lyra's skill and poise were exceptional. There was a calm confidence in her that made her presence commanding. Lyra noticed him and walked toward him, her expression unreadable. "You are awake early," she said softly. "I like to be ready," Ethan replied. "The raiders might strike again and I want to be prepared." Lyra nodded. "I see. Your courage yesterday, it was unusual for your kind. Most humans do not act without weapons, but you fight with your mind as well as your hands." Ethan shrugged. "I do what I can, I learn fast and act fast, that is all." She studied him for a moment, then nodded. "Perhaps you can teach some of our guards your techniques. They need to be faster, smarter, they need to survive." Ethan blinked. "Teach them, I can try." "But I am not sure they will listen." Lyra smiled faintly. They will listen if you show them courage and skill. Lead by example, human. The training yard was quiet at first. A few guards gathered, watching the human cautiously. Ethan began by demonstrating basic hand-to-hand movements, simple strikes, blocks, and throws. The guards followed his motions slowly, unsure of what to think. Some of them stumbled or fell, and Ethan gently corrected them. "Do not try to overpower your opponent," he explained. "Use speed, balance, and timing. You must think, not just fight." Lyra watched, impressed by his patience and clarity. He explained techniques in simple words, easy for the alien guards to understand. Even though their bodies were different, his movements could be adapted. He moved among them, correcting stances and showing how to react to attacks. Hours passed, and sweat covered everyone's bodies. Some guards still struggled, but others began to improve. Lyra herself stepped forward and sparred with Ethan. Their movements were a mix of human and Violian techniques, a strange but effective combination. She tested him with fast strikes and spins, but Ethan anticipated her moves, dodging and countering. "You are very good," Lyra said, breathing slightly heavy. "You learn quickly and react without fear." Ethan smiled faintly. "I have had to fight like this my whole life. Quick thinking and fast reflexes are the difference between living and dying." Lyra looked at him, admiration in her eyes. "You are different. You are not like the humans I have read about. You care about others, but you do not hesitate to act. That is rare." They sparred for another hour, and by the end, Lyra found herself exhausted but exhilarated. Ethan had a quiet strength, a calm determination that drew respect. She realized she had never met anyone like him. Later, as the guards rested, Lyra took Ethan aside. "Tell me, human," she said softly, "why do you risk your life so freely? You do not know us, and yet you fight for us." Ethan looked at her, considering his words carefully. "Because it is the right thing to do. When someone is in danger, I do not stand by, I act. It does not matter if they are human or alien, I fight for life." Lyra's eyes softened. "That is noble. I have never heard such words from anyone outside my people. You are brave and kind. I wish there were more like you." Ethan felt a warmth in his chest. He had faced countless battles, but this calm acknowledgement from an alien princess was different. It was not fear or awe, it was respect, and something more. Suddenly, a scout ran toward them, breathless. "Princess, raiders spotted near the eastern forest. They are moving quickly toward the city." Lyra's expression hardened. "Get the guards ready. Human, come with me. We will stop them before they reach the gates." Ethan nodded, his muscles tense with anticipation. They moved quickly toward the eastern edge of the city, where trees and rocks formed natural obstacles. The raiders were approaching, dozens of them, armed with strange, glowing weapons. Ethan assessed the situation quickly. There were too many for a frontal attack. They needed strategy. He turned to Lyra. "We can use the terrain, make them come to us where we have the advantage. I can take the smaller group and distract them. You lead the main force to protect the city." Lyra nodded. "Agreed." "Follow me, guards." They split into two groups. Ethan moved stealthily, using rocks and trees for cover. When the raiders spotted him, he ran toward them, dodging their energy blasts and using his hands to fight when he got close. He flipped over a raider, tripped another, and threw one into a shallow ditch. Lyra's group moved with precision, forming a defensive line to protect the city. Her warriors were skilled, but they followed Ethan's quick maneuvers with surprise. He was teaching them in real time how to use speed, balance, and thinking, not just brute strength. The battle raged for hours. Ethan's body was covered in scratches and bruises, but he never stopped. He moved faster than any raider expected, using the terrain and his wits. He felt alive in the chaos, every sense sharp, every movement purposeful. Lyra watched from a distance, her heart beating fast. She saw him saving guards, intercepting raiders, and using clever tactics to outsmart the enemy. Her admiration grew with every passing moment. She could not take her eyes off him. He was not just brave, he was extraordinary. By midday, the raiders were in retreat. Many lay unconscious, and the rest fled back into the forest. The city was safe again, thanks in large part to Ethan's skill and bravery. Lyra approached him as he caught his breath, leaning on a tree. "You did it again," she said softly. "I do not understand how one human can be so strong, so clever, and so fearless. It is incredible." Ethan wiped sweat from his brow. "It is not just strength. It is focus, awareness, and caring about others. That is what makes a difference." Lyra smiled faintly. "I have watched warriors my whole life. None have moved or fought like you. I think I could learn much from you." Ethan felt a small smile. Then I will teach you everything I can. You are already a great warrior. Together we could be even stronger." For the first time, Lyra felt a strange sense of connection with a human. She wanted to know more about him, to understand his courage and his mind. She wanted to see the world through his eyes, to learn from him, and maybe, in some small way, to be closer to him. Ethan spent the next few days training the guards and learning more about Violia. He taught them techniques to move faster, strike smarter, and think ahead. The guards respected him more each day. Even the most stubborn ones followed his advice after seeing him in action. Lyra stayed close to him, often watching silently as he worked. She asked questions about human life, about his training, and about why humans fought. Ethan answered with honesty and simplicity, explaining his world and his ways. She listened intently, fascinated by the differences and the similarities. One evening, as the sun set over the mountains, casting a golden glow over the city, Lyra approached Ethan while he was checking supplies. "Human, I have seen your courage, your skill, and your heart. I cannot explain why, but I feel drawn to you. I wish you were not just here to help us, but something more." Ethan looked at her, surprised by her honesty. "Lyra, I feel the same. I have faced many battles, but I have never met anyone like you. You are strong, smart, and brave. I want to fight beside you, not just for the city, but for you too." Her silver eyes softened. "Then we will face the challenges together. I want to learn from you, and I want you to learn from me. We can make each other stronger." Ethan nodded. "Together, then." As the stars appeared in the strange green-gold sky, they stood side by side, a human and an alien princess, united in purpose and respect. The bond between them was growing, stronger with each day, ready to face whatever dangers the future held. Even as the night deepened, Ethan knew one thing clearly: the raiders would return and the battles would grow harder. But with Lyra and the city's defenders, he felt ready for anything. And for the first time in his life, he felt a connection that went beyond duty, a bond of trust, admiration, and something deeper that neither of them fully understood yet. The sun rose slowly over the city of Violia, painting the towers of the palace in soft gold. Birds with bright feathers flew across the sky, and the wind carried the fresh smell of morning. For a short moment the city felt calm, but Ethan Carter knew better. The raiders had retreated before, but they would come back stronger. Danger was never far from this planet. Ethan walked along the palace walls, checking the guards and supplies. His muscles ached from the previous battles, but he moved with purpose. Every step mattered. The guards nodded to him, some smiling, others still in awe of the human who fought without weapons and survived. Ethan ignored the attention. He was focused on the mission: protect the city, protect the princess, and survive. Princess Lyra appeared on the balcony above, watching him. Her silver hair glowed in the morning light. She had spent the night thinking about Ethan and the human way of fighting. In the palace, she had warriors trained in years of combat, but Ethan had shown her that courage, quick thinking, and determination could surpass even the most skilled techniques. Her advisors watched her closely, whispering among themselves. "A human, he fights better than our soldiers. He is unusual," one said. Another shook his head. "We should not rely on him. He is an outsider." Lyra ignored them. "I do not care who he is," she said softly. "I trust him. He has saved lives. He has saved me. That is what matters." Ethan looked up and saw her watching. He gave a small nod, a silent acknowledgement of their growing trust. Suddenly, a scout ran into the courtyard, panting heavily. "Princess, raiders are coming." "They are attacking from the south, and they are many." Lyra's expression hardened. "Alert the guards. Human, come with me. We must stop them before they reach the palace." Ethan grabbed his gear and ran beside her. His heart beat fast, but his mind was clear. He had prepared for this. He had learned the city, the terrain, and the guards. Now everything would be tested. As they reached the southern wall, the raiders appeared over the ridge. There were dozens of them, armed with glowing weapons and riding strange beasts with sharp claws. They moved with speed and precision. The battle had begun. Ethan took a deep breath. "Lyra, I will take the smaller group on the left. You lead the main force and protect the city gates. Use the terrain to your advantage. I will distract them, and you strike where they are weakest." Lyra nodded. "Be careful, human." "You too," he replied. Ethan ran toward the smaller group of raiders. He had no weapons in hand, only his fists, his body, and his mind. The raiders laughed when they saw him, thinking he would be easy prey. They were wrong. He dodged the first strike, using the raiders' momentum to flip him onto the ground. Another raider swung a weapon at his head. Ethan ducked, grabbed the raider's arm, and twisted, sending him crashing into a rock. He moved like water, flowing between attacks, using speed and precision instead of brute force. Lyra led the main group of guards, blocking the raiders from advancing toward the city gates. She fought with grace and skill, her silver hair whipping around her as she struck with her blade. Ethan glanced at her, impressed. She was strong, fast, and fearless. Together they were unstoppable. The raiders tried to flank Ethan, surrounding him from both sides. He stayed calm, scanning for openings. He spotted a narrow path between two rocks. With a quick move, he jumped through the gap, tripping one raider and kicking another into the bushes. His movements were precise, almost like a dance, and every action had a purpose. From above, Lyra watched him and felt her chest tighten. She had fought many battles, but she had never seen anyone move like this. Ethan was fearless, clever, and completely focused. She whispered to herself again, "I wish he was my husband." Ethan ran toward the raider leader, a massive figure with glowing red eyes and a weapon that pulsed with energy. The leader swung at him, but Ethan ducked, grabbed the leader's arm, and used all his strength to push him back. The leader stumbled, surprised by the human's power. Lyra saw the struggle and moved to assist. Together, she and Ethan struck in perfect coordination. She attacked from above, forcing the raider leader to split his focus, while Ethan attacked from the side. They moved as one, anticipating each other's moves without words. The other raiders faltered, seeing their leader struggle. Ethan took advantage, striking one and using a rock to trip another. Lyra moved with speed and precision, her blade disarming raiders and forcing them back. The palace guards rallied, inspired by their leader's courage. Hours passed in the heat of battle. Ethan's body was covered in cuts and bruises, his hands raw from fighting without weapons. Lyra's arms ached from swinging her blade, but neither of them stopped. They were determined, focused on protecting their city and their people. At one point, Ethan saw a group of raiders sneaking around the side to attack the palace gates. Without hesitation, he ran toward them, using his speed to surprise them. He grabbed one raider and threw him into the bushes, dodged a strike from another, and punched the third, sending him flying into a shallow ditch. Lyra noticed his movements and smiled faintly. "He is amazing," she whispered to herself. "I have never seen anyone fight like him." The battle reached its peak when the raider leader tried a final attack. He charged at Ethan with full force, swinging his weapon in a deadly arc. Ethan dodged at the last second, grabbed the leader's weapon, and twisted it out of his hands. With one swift movement, he sent the leader crashing into a rock unconscious. Seeing their leader defeated, the remaining raiders fled into the forest. The city was safe again, but the cost was high. Guards and citizens were injured, and parts of the city were damaged. Ethan and Lyra stood together, breathing heavily, their bodies tired but their spirits strong. Lyra approached Ethan, her silver hair falling over her shoulders. "You fought bravely, human. You saved many lives today. I do not know how to thank you enough." Ethan shook his head. "I did what anyone would do. I fought to protect people, that is all." She smiled faintly, her eyes softening. "You are different, brave, clever, and kind. I admire you more than I can say." Ethan felt a warmth in his chest. "Thank you, Lyra. That means a lot coming from you. You are a great leader, strong and fearless. It is an honor to fight alongside you." The palace advisors whispered among themselves, still unsure about relying on a human, but Lyra ignored them. She had seen the truth. Ethan was not just a soldier. He was a hero, and she trusted him with her life. As the sun set, painting the sky in shades of green and gold, Ethan and Lyra walked through the damaged city together. They helped the injured, checked on the guards, and made sure the citizens were safe. Even in exhaustion, they moved with purpose. Lyra stopped and looked at Ethan. "I have watched warriors all my life, but you are unlike any of them. I feel something I cannot explain. I wish you were not just here for the city, but something more, someone close to me." Ethan looked at her, surprised by her honesty. "Lyra, I feel the same. I have faced many battles, but I have never met anyone like you. You are strong, smart, and brave. I want to fight beside you, not just for the city, but for you too." Her eyes softened, and she smiled faintly. "Then we will face the future together. I want to learn from you, and I want you to learn from me. We will be stronger together." Ethan nodded. "Together, then." That night, the city rested under the strange green-gold stars. Guards patrolled the walls, citizens repaired their homes, and the palace stood tall despite the damage. Ethan sat quietly, cleaning his scrapes and tending to his bruises. He thought about the battles, the raiders, and the strange bond forming between him and Lyra. Lyra watched from her balcony, her silver hair glowing in the starlight. She saw him helping the injured, checking the city's defenses, and moving with quiet confidence. She realized that bravery was not only in fighting but in caring, protecting, and thinking ahead. Ethan had all of that and more. For Ethan, it had been a day of danger and challenge, but also of discovery. He had seen courage, skill, and leadership in Lyra. He had also proven something to himself, that humans could face impossible odds and survive. And he had formed a connection with someone extraordinary, someone he respected and admired. As the night deepened, they both knew the raiders would return. The battles would grow harder and the challenges greater. But they also knew they had each other. Side by side, human and alien princess, they were ready to face whatever came next. And for the first time, both of them felt that hope was stronger than fear, and that together they could overcome anything. The city of Violia was quiet again, but the calm felt temporary. Ethan Carter walked through the streets, checking on the repairs and the wounded. The walls had been damaged in the last attack, and some buildings still smoldered from small fires. Citizens worked tirelessly, moving debris and helping the injured. Ethan moved among them, offering assistance wherever he could. His hands were scraped, his clothes dusty, but he worked with a calm determination. Princess Lyra followed him at a distance, observing. She had spent hours thinking about the human. He had fought bravely in battle, but now she saw him care for people, teach the guards, and help the city rebuild. There was something more in him than courage. There was compassion. She realized that true strength was not only in fighting, but also in helping, protecting, and inspiring others. Ethan knelt beside a small group of children who had been caught in the chaos of the attack. He helped them to move to a safe area and handed out food and water. The children stared at him with wide eyes, amazed that a human had come all the way from another world to help them. Ethan smiled gently. "Don't be afraid," he said. "I'm here to help. Everything will be okay." Lyra watched him quietly, her heart softening. She had seen leaders who gave orders, warriors who fought with skill, and humans who came to fight. But Ethan was different. He fought, yes, but he also cared. He inspired people not with fear, but with trust and courage. After helping the children, Ethan moved to check the training yard. Many guards had returned after tending to the wounded. Ethan spent the afternoon teaching them new techniques, showing how to move faster, strike smarter, and think ahead. His lessons were simple but effective. Guards who had struggled before began to improve, learning to anticipate attacks and protect one another. Lyra joined him in the yard, observing the lessons. She had learned from Ethan's previous training, and she wanted to see more. She stepped forward and sparred with him again. Their movements were smooth, precise, and almost effortless. Ethan anticipated her strikes, and she matched his movements with skill. Each time they sparred, their bond grew stronger. They did not need to speak. Their trust and understanding showed in every motion. During a break, Lyra asked, "Ethan, why do you stay with us? You could leave at any time. You are human and your people are far away." Ethan wiped sweat from his brow. "I am here because it is the right thing to do. I have faced many battles, but this one, it matters. These people need help and I can give it. That is enough reason for me to stay." Lyra nodded slowly. "I understand. Humans think differently. You do not only fight for yourself, but for others. That is rare." Ethan looked at her, feeling a quiet warmth in his chest. "I do not fight to be a hero. I fight to protect those who cannot protect themselves. That includes you, princess." Lyra's eyes softened. She realized that his words were honest, not a compliment or a lie. Ethan's courage and care were real. She had never felt this way about anyone before. The afternoon passed, and the sun began to set. The sky turned shades of gold and green, casting a warm glow over the city. Ethan walked along the walls, checking the repairs and speaking with guards. Lyra joined him again, staying close. For a long moment they walked in silence, listening to the distant sounds of the city repairing itself. Finally, Lyra spoke. "Ethan, I have seen you fight, teach, and help our people. You are extraordinary. I have fought in battles, led warriors, and faced danger, but you are unlike anyone I have ever met. I feel something for you that I cannot explain." Ethan turned to her, surprised by her honesty. "Lyra, I feel the same. I have faced many battles, but I have never met anyone like you. You are strong, brave, and wise. I want to fight beside you, not just for the city, but for you too." Lyra smiled faintly, her silver hair catching the light. Then we will face whatever comes together. I want to learn from you and I want you to learn from me. Together we can be stronger." Ethan nodded. Together. Their conversation was interrupted by a sudden alarm. Scouts ran toward the palace, shouting warnings. "Princess, raiders are attacking again. They are coming from the eastern cliffs. They have grown in number." Lyra's expression hardened. She turned to Ethan. "Get the guards ready. We cannot let them reach the city gates." "Human, I need you with me. We fight together again." Ethan's eyes narrowed. "I am ready. Let's protect this city." The eastern cliffs were steep, jagged, and dangerous. The raiders moved quickly, hoping to use the terrain to their advantage. But Ethan and Lyra had prepared for this. They positioned guards along the cliffs, using rocks and trees for cover. Ethan moved among them, giving instructions, adjusting positions, and showing how to use the environment to defend against the attackers. When the raiders arrived, they were surprised to see the defenders ready. Ethan moved first, engaging a group of raiders with quick strikes and precise movements. He dodged their energy weapons and used his body to block attacks. He flipped one raider over a rock, kicked another into a shallow ditch, and struck the third with a rapid punch. Lyra led the main group, striking with her blade and coordinating the guards. Their movements were almost like a dance, each action precise and calculated. The raiders tried to flank them, but Ethan anticipated their moves and intercepted them with clever maneuvers. Hours passed, and the battle was fierce. Ethan's body ached, and blood covered his hands, but he did not stop. Lyra fought beside him, her eyes focused, her movements flawless. Together, they inspired the guards to fight harder, protect one another, and hold the line. At one point, Ethan saw a group of raiders attempting to sneak around the side to attack the city gates. He ran toward them, using his speed and agility to surprise them. He struck one raider with a punch, threw another into the bushes, and used a rock to trip the third. His actions were precise, each movement saving lives and protecting the city. Lyra noticed his courage and whispered to herself, "I wish he were truly mine, brave, kind, and clever, unlike anyone I have ever known." As the sun began to set, the raiders were forced to retreat. Many lay unconscious or injured, and the rest fled into the cliffs. The city was safe again, but the cost was high. Guards were tired and wounded, and parts of the eastern walls had been damaged. Ethan and Lyra walked through the aftermath, checking on the injured and helping repair the walls. They moved silently at first, exhausted but determined. Then Lyra spoke softly. "Ethan, you have saved so many lives today. I cannot thank you enough. You are incredible." Ethan shook his head. "I only did what I had to do. I fight to protect, that is all." "You and your people are worth protecting." Lyra's eyes softened. "You are more than a warrior. You are someone I trust completely. I feel safe when you are near. That is rare for me." Ethan felt a warmth in his chest. "I feel the same, Lyra. You are brave, wise, and strong. Fighting with you is an honor. Protecting you, it is something I will do no matter what." They stood together on the eastern wall, looking at the city and the cliffs beyond. The sky was painted in shades of gold and green, and the wind carried the distant sounds of repair and recovery. For a moment, the danger felt far away. For a moment, they could simply be together, human and alien princess, sharing trust and understanding. Lyra looked at Ethan and smiled faintly. "I think we will face many more battles, but I know now that we can overcome anything together." Ethan nodded. "Together, no matter what comes, we face it side by side." As night fell, the city rested under the strange green-gold stars. Guards patrolled the walls, citizens repaired their homes, and the palace stood tall despite the damage. Ethan sat quietly, tending to his wounds and thinking about the battles, the raiders, and the growing bond with Lyra. Lyra watched from her balcony, her silver hair glowing in the starlight. She saw him helping the injured, guiding the guards, and moving with calm confidence. She realized that true courage was not only in fighting, but in protecting and caring. Ethan had all of that and more. For both of them, the day had been long and exhausting, yet they felt a growing sense of connection. Ethan had proven that humans could be strong, brave, and compassionate. Lyra had shown that alien warriors could be wise, skilled, and capable of trust. Together, they formed a bond that went beyond battle, a bond of trust, respect, and something deeper neither fully understood yet. Even as the night deepened, they knew the raiders would return. The challenges would grow harder and the dangers greater. But they also knew one thing. Side by side, human and alien princess, they could face anything and survive. And for the first time, both felt that hope was stronger than fear. courage stronger than doubt, and the bond between them stronger than anything the galaxy could throw at them. The sun had not yet risen over Violia, but the air was already tense. Scouts had reported a massive force of raiders approaching the city from the northern cliffs. This was no ordinary attack. The raiders had returned with hundreds more soldiers, heavier weapons, and large beasts trained for battle. The city was quiet now, but Ethan Carter could feel the storm coming. He walked along the palace walls, checking the defenses. Guards were tense, eyes wide with fear and determination. Many were exhausted from the previous battles, but Ethan knew that fear would not protect anyone. Courage, planning, and quick action would. He adjusted his gear, checked his weapons, and moved among the guards, giving instructions and reassurance. Princess Lyra appeared on the balcony, her silver hair glowing faintly in the pre-dawn light. Her eyes were sharp, determined. She had trained her warriors, reinforced the city walls, and prepared every defense possible. But even she knew that today's battle would be unlike any they had faced before. Ethan noticed her watching. "Lyra, we can do this," he said quietly. "We have strength, skill, and each other. The city can be protected." Lyra nodded. "I know, Ethan. But this attack, it will be dangerous. We cannot fail." Ethan gave her a small smile. "Then we fight side by side." The first raiders appeared at the horizon, a dark wave moving quickly toward the city. Ethan and Lyra led the defenders to the northern walls. Ethan moved among the guards, giving quick instructions: where to position, when to block, how to use the terrain. His simple, clear commands kept the defenders focused. The raiders charged, shouting, their glowing weapons cutting through the morning light. Ethan met the first group, moving like water, dodging attacks, striking with precision. He flipped a raider over a rock, kicked another into a shallow ditch, and struck the third with a quick punch. His movements were fast, deliberate, and effective. Lyra led the main group of guards, coordinating attacks and defending the city walls. Her blade moved with grace and power, cutting through the raiders' ranks. Her warriors followed her lead, inspired by her courage and skill. Ethan noticed a group of raiders sneaking around the left side to attack the gates. He sprinted toward them, using the terrain to his advantage. He grabbed one raider and threw him into a rock, dodged a strike from another, and struck the third with a precise blow. Every movement saved lives and protected the city. The raider leader appeared soon after, a massive figure with glowing red eyes and a large weapon pulsing with energy. He was bigger and stronger than any raider Ethan had faced before. Ethan's heart pounded, but his mind was calm. He had fought tougher odds and survived. This time would be no different. Lyra noticed the leader approaching and moved to Ethan's side. "We fight together," she said firmly. "Together," Ethan replied. The raider leader charged at them with incredible speed. Ethan dodged, using his agility to avoid the powerful strikes. He countered with a quick punch, followed by a kick that sent the leader stumbling. Lyra struck from above, her blade glancing off the leader's armor, forcing him to split his attention. Their movements were synchronized, human and alien working in perfect harmony. They anticipated each other's actions without words. Ethan struck one side while Lyra blocked another attack. The raider leader roared in frustration, swinging wildly, but Ethan and Lyra moved with precision and skill. Around them, the battle raged. Guards fought bravely, inspired by Ethan and Lyra's courage. The raiders were strong and numerous, but they lacked the discipline and teamwork that the defenders had. Every move by Ethan and Lyra seemed to confuse and overwhelm them. Ethan dodged a powerful strike and grabbed the raider leader's weapon, twisting it out of his hands. Lyra struck at the same time, her blade knocking the leader off balance. With one strong kick, Ethan sent the leader crashing into a rock, unconscious. The remaining raiders faltered, seeing their leader defeated. The other raiders fled into the cliffs, defeated and demoralized. The city was safe once more, but the battle had taken its toll. Guards were exhausted, and parts of the city walls were damaged. Citizens emerged cautiously, looking at the defenders with gratitude and awe. Lyra approached Ethan, her silver hair falling over her shoulders, her eyes softening. "Ethan, you have done it again. You saved the city, the people, and my warriors. I cannot thank you enough." Ethan shook his head. "I only did what I had to do. We protected the city together." "That is what matters." Lyra's expression changed, a faint blush on her cheeks. "You are incredible, brave, clever, and kind. I admire you more than I can say. I wish you were truly mine, not just here to fight for the city." Ethan felt a warmth in his chest. He had expected gratitude, perhaps admiration, but not this. He looked at her, his heart steady. Lyra, I feel the same. I have faced many battles, but I have never met anyone like you. You are strong, wise, and brave. I want to fight beside you, not just for the city, but for you too. Lyra's eyes softened completely, and she smiled faintly. Then we face the future together. I want to learn from you, and I want you to learn from me. Together, we are stronger. Ethan nodded. Together. No matter what comes, we face it side by side. The city began repairs immediately. Guards and citizens worked tirelessly, inspired by the bravery of their leaders. Ethan moved among them, helping where he could, giving guidance and encouragement. Lyra stayed close, directing efforts and learning from Ethan's methods. Together, they formed a team that was unstoppable. That evening, the sky turned shades of green and gold, reflecting off the city walls. Ethan and Lyra walked along the northern walls, observing the repairs and checking the defenses. The air was calm, but both knew that peace on Violia was never permanent. Danger would come again. Lyra looked at Ethan, her silver hair glowing in the sunset. Ethan, I have watched you fight, teach, and protect. You are more than a warrior. You are someone I can trust completely. I want to be with you if you feel the same. Ethan smiled, feeling a quiet happiness he had never known. Lyra, I do. I have faced countless battles, but I have never met anyone like you. You are brave, smart, and kind. I want to fight beside you, protect you, and be with you. Lyra's eyes shone with emotion. Then we are together, not just as leaders or warriors, but as something more. Side by side, human and princess, we face the future together. Ethan nodded, feeling a sense of completion and peace. The raiders had been defeated, the city was safe, and they had found trust and love in each other. For the first time, both felt hope stronger than fear, courage stronger than doubt, and connection stronger than anything the galaxy could throw at them. That night, as the stars shone in the green-gold sky, Ethan and Lyra stood together on the palace balcony, looking at the city they had protected. Guards patrolled, citizens repaired their homes, and the palace stood tall despite the damage. Side by side, human and alien princess, they felt a bond that could never be broken. Lyra whispered, her voice soft and full of feeling, I am glad you are here, Ethan. Brave, kind, and clever, I wish you were my husband. Ethan smiled and took her hand gently. I would be honored, Lyra, and I will stay by your side always. For Violia, the battles were over for now. But for Ethan and Lyra, a new journey had begun, one of trust, courage, and love. Together, they were ready for anything. And under the strange green-gold stars, the human warrior and the alien princess stood together, a symbol of hope, strength, and unity.